Proiectul VEHMED, Vehicule media pentru formarea abilităților practice, televiziuni și ziare operate de studenți pentru studenți, este cofinanțat din Fondul Social European prin Programul Operațional Sectorial Dezvoltarea Resurselor Umane 2007-2013. Domeniul major de intervenție 2.1, Tranziția de la școală la viața activă. Conținutul acestui material nu reprezintă în mod obligatoriu poziția oficială a Uniunii Europene sau a Guvernului României.
To the world, voice of the one big gangzilla alongside Skrillex. Them for no. Ooh-wee. Ow. We mash up the place, turn up the bass and make them all have fun. How we ablaze the fire, make it fun them. We mash up the place, turn up the bass and make some sound, boy run. And we will end your week just like a Sunday. We mash up the place, turn up the bass and make them all have fun. Skrillex ablaze the fire, make it fun them. We mash up the place, turn up the bass and make some sound, boy run. And we will end your week just like a Sunday.
Mash up the place.
And make them all have fun. How we ablaze the fire, make it fun them. We mash up the place, turn
Dragi prieteni, bun găsit la o nouă ediție a emisiunii academică la VEHMED TV. Universitatea Danubius din Galați a fost recent gazda uneia dintre cele mai importante manifestări științifice mondiale dedicate dezvoltării universităților la nivel global. Vă invit să urmărim împreună aspecte de la conferința internațională GAUC, desfășurată în aula magna a Universității Gălețene.
Good morning, dear guests, dear colleagues, and welcome to Danubius University, welcome to Romania, welcome to Galați. We are very happy and honored to have all of you here. Thank you. And we are also very honored to host such an important conference, the third annual International Conference on Global Advancement of Universities and Colleges. We are all of us here together to share ideas, to bring solutions, to find solutions first, of course, and to bring a contribution to the improvement of higher education institutions and to internationalization, which has become one of our most important goals. And of course, as I said yesterday, we work on it every year, guided by important personalities and institutions. Thank you, all of you. And now, I am very honored and happy to announce that among us there are His Excellency Datonik Mustafa Kamal bin Nik Ahmad, Ambassador of Malaysia. His Excellency Ambassador Gheorghe Săvuică, President of the Romanian Institute for European Asian Studies. Welcome, sir. His Eminence, the Archbishop of Lower Danube, Casian Crăciun, PhD. Ioan Mircea Pașcu, Vice Chair of the European Parliament's Foreign Affairs Committee. Welcome. Dobrovici Bacalvașa Nicolae, President of Galați County Council. And certainly, the next step would be to kindly ask our guests to address a message, but first of all, yesterday we watched several short movies about Romania, of course the most important sites of Romania, about Galați, about Danubius University, and last but not least, about Romanian inventors and inventions. Therefore, ladies and gentlemen, you are in a very beautiful country. And because yesterday we were not together, I mean today we are more than yesterday, allow me to make just a short presentation of Romania, just a few words. Thank you. First of all, I would start with Bucharest, capital of the country. Seat of government used to be called the Paris of the East. It has brilliant sights, an electric nightlife, and some interesting memories of the Soviet era. Constanța, the second largest city, is a colorful and vibrant seaport, and Mamaia is one of the most popular tourist spots on the Black Sea coast. Starting with the modernity of Bucharest, we can venture, of course, on the preserved natural charm of the Romanian Riviera. The beaches along the Black Coast have been developing into attractive but not too overcrowded resorts and warrant at least a brief stay. Transylvania, the land that lies beyond the woods, is famous for, of course, you know, for what? And it is the mythical home of Count Dracula. The major towns and cities in this region are Brașov, Sibiu, and Sighișoara. And if you want to get up close and personal with the Romanian links, you can go to the dense wildlife sanctuaries in the Danube Delta. And as you probably know, Galați is the county seat of Galați County. Galați is part of Moldavia region, not to be mistaken with Basarabia region, which is actually the independent state, the Republic of Moldova. Galați is also the largest port town on the Danube River. In 2011, the Romanian census recorded 231,000 residents, making it the 7th most populous city in Romania. Galați is also a major economic center based around the port of Galați, naval shipyard, the ArcelorMittal Galați steel plant, and also mineral exports. The oldest buildings in Galați are the fortified monastery of the Holy Virgin, the fortified Precista Church, consecrated as a place of worship in September 1647 during the reign of Vasile Lupu. And of course we have the Greek church, St. Paraskeva Cathedral and Mavromol Church. And of course yesterday you could find out more things about Danubius University, and certainly we are very proud that, as I said yesterday, we are higher and higher every year, and it was founded in 1992. It functions on the non-profit principle, and it has in view the training of future specialists so that they may meet the demands of the contemporary knowledge and performance and of the labor market. Our merits, the effort of our entire academic community to achieve the highest performance, were highlighted by the prestigious Cambridge University in the Guide of Excellence. According to Cambridge University, one of the oldest universities and leading academic centers, Danubius has become, over the last 2 decades, one of Romania's leading academic institutions. Thank you very much for everything, and now I will kindly ask the rector of Danubius University, Associate Professor Andy Pușcă, PhD, to address your message. Please, you have the floor.
be the academic house home for several days. Today, each of us participants in the third edition of Global Advancement Conference of Universities and Colleges has proved once again that the institution you represent is an international one. First in China, second in Russia, and now in Romania. The third edition of our conference will be the best opportunity to fulfill our wonderful academic partnership as imposing the premises of the fourth edition of this conference. Romania by Danubius believes that this will happen. We believe that professionals from our universities, our researchers, are the best representatives of our nations. We have in this room the top 3 superpowers of the world: United States, China, Russia. So if these superpowers cannot move the world forward, who will do that? 3 steps lead to this international scientific event. Academics recognized in their field. Academia enabling progress and globalization through the recognition and equivalence of specific features, and students with multiple parallel and complementary training opportunities in various academic systems around the globe. It's a great opportunity to highlight the benefits they provide through cooperation between universities in different countries. Our conference can build the premises of a framework for academic equivalence as the Bologna system did, but globally, internationally. For all of us to achieve a valuable system to ensure quality in various university entities, to reflect the reality of academic credentials, education, and management principles, we must have a common goal, agreed and accepted unanimously. Basically, this must be on short and medium term, the main objectives of the conference. Implementation of a monitoring system, a quality assessment widely recognized, leading to multiple credentials, and finally, a more efficient management in the partners of GAUC Association institutions. In this context, another thing to note is about exchange of experience that some academic institutions under the GAUC partnership can offer. More specifically, I'm thinking of the Anglo-Saxon universities and Danubius as a good example, a happy case in a country dominated by the state university. In the conclusion, to regain the referential, academia must demonstrate that the real economy has only to gain from working together with higher education institutions, and society in general can move towards real progress following the recommendation of scientists and humanists. If academia and academics not find the premises, means, and aims of cooperation among themselves and in parallel with the public, who will? If the academic organizations cannot configure strategies appropriate to the economic development and social progress, then who? If students trained by the brightest mind in the world cannot implement these strategies and present examples and can't be the promoters of change, then who? It's an honor and a real pleasure for us, Domeniul University, to host this year the Scientist Research Table, which brought together academics, researchers, and important officials at true values in the main field of the Global Advancement Universities and Colleges 2013 edition. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Associate Professor Andy Pushka, PhD, Rector of Domeniul University. And now I have the pleasure to invite Mr. Steve O'Michael, Professor, Provost and Vice President for Academic Affairs, Arcadia University, United States of America. Please, as you probably know, Professor Steve O'Michael is an old friend of Domeniul University. You have the floor, sir.
Bună dimineața. Ce mă face? I'm indeed glad to be here this morning. She just called me an old man. I think she means old friend, but thank you, Alina. It is my pleasure to address you this morning and to welcome some of you who have come to this conference for the first time. A few years ago, Professor Sabagrev from Russia and I sat at Kent State University having a dream of a changing world and the role of higher education in that world. Since that day, the two of us have been discussing and collaborating, and that collaboration has grown to include several people around the world. So indeed, this is the outcome of that first meeting that took place a long time ago. So I want to give you the credit and thank you for representing Russia to the United States at that meeting. The association before you, called the Association of Global Advancements of Universities and Colleges, have 4 ideas that guide us. And if you can find those ideas as part of things that you are committed to, then you are, by calling of those ideas, members of this association. The number 1 is the internationalization of higher education. We knew that the world was changing and the world was going to change. We knew that the world was going to become smaller, and because of transportation and technology, that people are going to interact around the globe. And we knew that the food companies, you have McDonald's, Burger King's, KFC all over the world, and you have fashion industry all over the world. We knew that higher education is the next to be internationalized. And the first thing that needed to be done there is the internationalization of quality assurance. So you will be hearing many of us talking about internationalization at this conference. The second important thing is strengthening the private sector. We knew that government higher education, public higher education is not the only solution to the demand for college education. That the private sector has a role to play. And in many nations, private sector is very new. Our job is to help to strengthen that sector so that it can rise to the challenge of an increasing demand for college education. The third has to do with expansion of access. We believe that human talents are randomly distributed all over the world. You can find human talents among poor people. You can find human talent in villages. The role of higher education is to bring those talents and help to develop them in service to humanity. That finance only should not be the barrier that prevent people from accessing college education. We know that there are some places, because of the structural design of the higher education policies, some sectors are left out. Our role is to bridge that and bring them forth in service to humanity. And then the fourth principles or vision that guide this organization is making a difference. Higher education, after all, is established to transform the civilization. Our goal is to be the light in this dark world, solutions to nagging problems. Our role is to lift up humanity and make the world a smaller place. Our role is to transform economy and make life better for more people. To transform the globe, transform the nation, transform the local region, transform the institution. So every institution that is represented here today, our goal is to transform you by helping you to extend your network across the globe, so that your students will become what we call global scholars. Your teachers will become global teachers. People who are not afraid to embrace the opportunities of the globe, even as they translate the opportunities in the local region. People who are not afraid to cross the region. And lastly, to make a difference for themselves. Whatever has brought you here today has brought you because of your vision about this organization and the vision that I've shared with you. My hope is that you will take that vision back to where you came from and begin to spread that news. My hope is that you will be part of this organization so that next year, I don't know where it's going to be, but next year we will see you spreading that same news. So thank you, and I hope you will truly enjoy your time at this conference. God bless you all.
Thank you very much. And now I have the honor to invite His Excellency Datonik Mustafa Kamal bin Ahmad, Ambassador of Malaysia. In Russia. I think it is the second time you come to Danubius University, right?
Sure. Good morning, everybody. And I'm very pleased to see you in this conference. And I would like to say that my colleagues before said about the main ideas of this conference. And in this way, I will say only one parallel between this conference and your great river, which go across your beautiful town. As I know, the Danubius, the name of the university, it is the Latin name of your river. Is it right? Yes. And we see this river is the great here. But of course we know that all the river begins from the very short creeks of the head of the river. And when it comes from the any creeks, it comes here to be such huge and very important for economics, for education, for this region. And my parallel will be so to see you, to show you that it is the same with this conference too, like this river. You know, 10 years ago, some more, in the United States, some non-government organization made initiative to support administrative transform in Russian system of higher education. And one of this organization is IREX, International Research and Exchange Board. And on this program, I took part in work about the strategic planning process in the United States in the Kent State University. It was 2002, I suppose. And the head of this program from Kent State University was Provost Paul Gaston. But inside this office of Paul Gaston, the vice provost of this, in this affair was Steve Michael. And when we come together to know about the strategic planning, we saw that our mind is very close. I mean, mine and Steve Michael. And from this time, we began to work together in the themes of economics of university, of financing, of governing of the university, and our works come together and we make many. It was 8 international conference. And first of all, this conference was in Voronezh city. After that, Voronezh city, it is the one of the city in the Russian system and have the 36 university inside this. The population of the city is about 1 million. And the strategic planning was very important for development of Voronezh State University. And when inside this international conference, the influence of this conference will go across the Russian too. I need to say that strategic planning was out in Russian system of higher education. And during the transform period, it support us to understand how to go from the Soviet system to market system. It is not easy process, and it is the need to make the change to change the mind in our system too. So in this way, I would say that in fact, Steve and I, is a joke of course, is a homosexual parents of this conference. because after the beginning, they go, we move inside, not only in Russian, and go across the wall. We go to Turkey, to Tunisia, to Armenia, to Romania, to China, and so Steve Michael 3 years ago go from Kent State, which is the public university, to the private university, which is Arcadia University. We decided to rename of this conference because it is the great problem, the relations between the public and the state and the private institutions all over the world. And that's why I think the third international conference, we need to say it is 8 or 9, but it is not problem. But I would say that the person who come to this conference to Romania is Anna Popa. I don't know is she here, but I welcome her, and she take. Very glad to see you. Oh, very glad to see you. She take part in conference that will be in Tunisia. She understands that it is very interesting for Romania to take such conference too. And after that, when Anna did it, the Andy Pushka and his father understand that the international relations, it is very important for the growth of the university in whole, in the private sector and the state or the public sector. So all of us, we need to say that we work to make our higher education system better than it is now. And we can decide it only in this way if we will be together. And my parallel about this conference is so that if on the first conference there were only 2 participants, United States and Russian university, today we see on this conference a huge number of the persons from the different countries. And it is very important, and this give us to say that it is look like as Danubians from very small chicks and to begin and to come to great universities. And it is very important to say that Danubians go across galaxies, and this conference go across galaxies too. And I wish to this conference and all of you the great success on inside this conference and in your work. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Unfortunately, time is running fast, so we have to hurry up with the speeches. Now I have the pleasure to invite Mr. Ruiqing Du, Vice President for International Programs, Xi'an University, China. Please, sir.
Good morning, everybody. I bring you greetings from China and also sincere thanks from different universities and scholars across the nation. We at Xi'an International University had the pleasure of hosting the first international conference on the global advancement of private universities and colleges. And last year, we went to the Russian University, University of Umane, and we had the second conference, and we continued the tradition. And here at Danubius University, we are gathering again for the third international conference on global advancement of colleges and universities. So our sincere greetings and heartfelt thanks for the hours of dedication, for the meticulous work that you have done for the preparation of the conference. And we appreciate all the work that you've done over the months and all the email messages that we exchanged for various matters relating to the conference, particularly the visa to Romania. So, greetings and gratitude aside, I have the pleasure of introducing to you the big Chinese delegation. The big Chinese delegation. And in this respect, as Professor Steve Michael has said, we have beaten the United States of America. So I have with me Professor Li Weiming, who is a policymaker in many respects. He helped draft many of the laws and bylaws governing higher education, particularly private higher education in China. He's the executive vice chairman of the higher education section of the National Association of Private Education in China. And he will address us in a little while. And then we have Professor Guo from Beijing University, which is the premier university in China, a public one. And no other university can beat Beijing University in China because of massive government support, financial and spiritual. And then we have Professor Xia Jiting from Shandong Yingcai University, which is said to be the biggest, which claims to be the biggest private university in China. In Shandong province, which is one of the heavily populated provinces. in China, a very promising province and a promising university. And we have Professor Fan Jixuan from the Guanghe University of Science and Technology, which claims to be the oldest private university in China. And Guanghe University of Science and Technology is located in Henan province, which is once again a province in the central part of China, a province with 100 million, with almost 100 million people. So it's an important province. And then we have Professor He and his family from the He International University, which is focused on the training of medical personnel, if I'm correct. They arrived last night. So a cross-section of Chinese education, well represented in China. Private, public, the oldest, the biggest. Private universities offer different things. So I hope that this contingent will grow in the conferences over the years ahead. And we feel honored, I mean, all the Chinese delegates, to be here at this beautiful city and having the conference on this beautiful campus. Thank you. And last, I would just hope that this effort, this endeavor will continue, just like the continuing flow of your beautiful river. We may not be able to meet here next year, but we will meet somewhere, sometime, with the efforts of the people who are present here today, with the efforts of people sitting in front of me. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ri Qinggu. And now, Mr. Guo Jianru from Peking University, China. The floor is yours, sir.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It's a great honor for me to be here. And it's pleasant to meet old friends and make new friends in this beautiful country. What is the most happy thing is that we can talk about our common concerns, the quality of higher education. When people come from different countries, different cultures, the question will arise: how to understand each other? At this time, the behavior rules and standards will become very important. It is similar for the universities and colleges. The global is the nature for universities. As we know, in ancient time, Europe old universities could attract many students from different countries and from different cultural areas. And the idea of education without borders of countries was born. In globalizational time, the students come more freely all over the world. The demands of the students and their parents for high quality education increase quickly. but they face a command problem. How to judge the quality of education? The governments of United States ask to know how the foreign universities and colleges assure their quality of higher education. So, what is the quality of higher education? How to judge the quality of the university and colleges? How to compare the quality difference of the universities and colleges? It is very great that we will discuss these important questions in these days on this beautiful conference. As I believe we can learn much from each other, and I deep believe that the conference will succeed. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Gojianlu. And now I kindly invite Mr. Li Waimin, Executive Chairman of China Non-Government Education Association, China. Please, sir.
尊敬的多国研究高等教育的专家和学者，尊敬的俄鲁比斯大学的校长和同仁，大家上午好。
Good morning, everybody. Good morning, respected scholars in the field of education, and guests and scholars, hosts of Cannabis University.
今天有幸受邀来到我们美丽热情的学校，深感荣幸。
I'm deeply honored to be invited to the conference, which is being held on this beautiful campus.
我对这次会议感兴趣的一个议题是，我们准备成立世界私立高等教育联盟。
The most interesting and important topic that I cherish at this conference is the establishment of some kind of an alliance on the study of private education across the globe.
我认为这一时机是成熟的，机会也是难得的。
To me, the conditions are right and opportunities are available for such an endeavor.
前不久，我以中国民办教育协会高专委的名誉，带了40多所中国的私立大学到美国进行考察和学习。
Not long ago, I led the delegation of about 40 private colleges and universities, and we visited the United States of America for the study and for the exchange between private education in China and that in the United States of America, in the capacity of the executive vice chairman of the higher education section of China Non-Government Education Commission.
其中就来到我们澳大利亚迈克尔·斯蒂夫校长，还有他的同仁，都热情地接待了我们。
One of the universities we visited is Acadia University, where Professor Steve Michael serves as provost and vice president. We were warmly received.
这一行动受到了美国驻华大使 教育参战的肯定和赞扬。
And this was highly praised by the Chinese officials, education officials stationed in the United States of America, the Education Council.
也受到了中国教育部的充分肯定。
And this was also fully recognized by the Ministry of Education in China.
这是建国以来我们第一次组织如此庞大的一个考察团到美国参观、考察和学习。
It was the first visit of such a huge delegation of private education officials for its visit to the United States of America since the founding of New China.
它也揭开了我们国际私立高等教育加强交流学习的一个新篇章。
And it opened a new chapter for the exchange of private education in China with its counterpart outside of the country.
我们这次会议，我想对国际私立高等教育的交流将起到一个积极的推动作用。
I'm sure this conference will play a very positive role in promoting the private education across the globe.
我们希望借这次会议的机会，把全球的私立高等教育的联盟工作推向一个新的阶段。
And it's my fervent hope that the conference will promote the alliance of private institutions of higher education so that together we will be able to move forward much faster.
这一活动可能对中国的民办高等教育将起到一个积极的推动作用。
And this will for sure promote the growth of private education in China.
谢谢大家。
Thank you.
Thank you very much. And now I have the pleasure to invite Mr. Wei He, Executive President of Chinese Association of Ophthalmologists, to come on the stage and address your message.
Good morning, Chairman. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm so honored and happy to be invited to join this excellent conference. I want to express my thanks for very good preparations and friendship for hospitalizing us in Romania. I want to put just one topic about the big challenge for the international education. People talking about internationalization, but people are more and more focused on the internationalization for education. Because you know, the teams in Stanford, in MIT, and Harvard, they are putting more strength on the international education to have an open university online. But I think the majority of participants here are from the universities not widely known as Harvard, Cambridge, Stanford, or those famous universities. When we think about in the next 10 years, the open university having several, like 100,000 students in India, they pay $500 for 4-year study and that degree of Harvard. How we can do? How we can survive and develop for majority of small university, private university, and not get strong support from government or from industry? I think how we can go? That's a topic we should focus. It's one of the topics. As a Chinese, we know our tradition for education from Confucius. The teacher teach and we follow. But as in Western, you have Aristotle, you have Programul, you have the traditional education by dialogue. And we try to mute, try to communicate more, but by internet it's not enough. So we are facing the challenge. Meantime, we have a lot of chances. For example, the stem cell, the material science, the cognitive science, those are the new emerging science giving the small universities, or the universities not as famous as Harvard and Stanford, Cambridge. We still have a lot of chance to go. So ladies and gentlemen, I think this conference gives a very good chance to tie up together. I hope, as the chairman of IFPB Investment Federation, I hope next year, if, gentlemen, you like more people from Asia to join in, not only the big team in China, right? So next year, I'll bring more president university in Asia from Japan, Korea, Mongolia, especially Northeast Asia. We have more team joining. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Resurselor. And now, Professor Ion Bujac, General Secretary of the Academy of Science of Moldova. Please, sir. And University Lecturer Liviu Marinescu, PhD, will help us with the translation.
Thank you very much.
Mulțumesc mult, stimate domnule rector, excelențe, domnul ambasador,
Your Excellency,
domnilor profesori, dragi doctoranzi,
PhD students and master students, greetings.
Sunt nespus de onorat.
I'm honored
transmit din partea Academiei de Științe a Moldovei
to send a message from the Academy of Science of the Republic of Moldova and the entire community on the left of route.
Cel mai sincer și alese urări de bine participanților la acest eveniment de o importanță istorică inedită.
The most beautiful greetings to all the participants in this event of a momentous significance.
Și să felicit în mod special membrii Comitetului Organizatoric pentru bună organizare a acestei frumoase conferințe.
And to especially greet all the chairs of this conference for the organizing of this conference.
Zic că acest eveniment este de o importanță istorică inedită, deoarece la acest început de secol societatea se confruntă cu multiple probleme, printre care internaționalizarea învățământului versus globalizare.
This event is conspicuously significant because now society is confronted with the phenomenon of internationalization and globalization.
Și acest fenomen solicită conjugarea tuturor eforturilor în identificarea unor soluții constructive.
And this phenomenon requires the congregating of all efforts in order to find solutions in this respect.
Îmi vine greu să vorbesc despre internaționalizarea relațiilor între Republica Moldova și România.
It is very difficult for me now to speak about the internationalization between the relationships
between situația în care nu poate fi internaționalizat ceea ce prin definiție este național.
In the situation in which we cannot internationalize what is also national.
Avem noi românii un obicei foarte frumos care nu prea este întâlnit la alte popoare.
We Romanians, we are used to do a specific thing that is not specific to other people.
Și aceasta ține de faptul că atunci când venim în ospăție ne oferim cu drag daruri.
That is, we offer gifts to all our guests.
În mare parte relația dintre Republica Moldova și România, acestea au fost cărțile. Mai ales
I do refer to books now. In the relationships between the Republic of Moldova and Romania.
Acest efort în anii 90 și când Republica Moldova a făcut un efort intelectual considerabil.
Especially in the 90s, the Republic of Moldova made a special effort.
Trecând la grafia chiriliță la cea latină,
passing from the X alphabet of the Cyrillic alphabet to the Latin one.
La acel moment mediul universitar ducând o criză greu de descris
specific moment, the academic environment being in a crisis connected to the handbooks and manuals.
Colegii din România au fost cei care ne-au oferit primul acest suport foarte apreciat la acel moment.
Our Romanian colleagues being the first ones to have offered us that specific support appreciated at that particular moment.
Au trecut ani și acum venim și noi cu valori de această natură și de această dată vreau să transmit
years have passed and now I want to send the host university
o lucrare care a fost editată de Institutul de Cercetări Enciclopedice Academiei Știința Moldovei.
A paper published by the Encyclopedic Institute of the Science Academy of the Republic of Moldova.
Simbolurile naționale ale Republicii Moldova.
The national symbols of the Republic of Moldova.
Unul din aceste simboluri îl vedem în stânga mea, este drapelul de stat al Republicii Moldova.
One of the symbols can be seen here at my left, the flag of the Republic of Moldova.
Și dacă observați, practic același drapel îl vedem aici în stânga. Este drapelul de stat al României.
The Romanian flag is identical, it's the same.
Și dacă observați, sunt foarte aproape după mesajul pe care îl poartă această valoare inestimabilă a poporului nostru.
The message they send is identical, connected to the value transmitted by our people.
Ceea ce demonstrează încă o dată originile spirituale și de sânge ale poporului românesc.
Proving once more the roots, the blood roots of the Romanian people.
Care datorită unor circunstanțe și datorită faptului că înaintașii neamului nostru din trecut nu au putut depăși anumite probleme,
which because of some circumstances and because of the fact that our ancestors couldn't get over some issues and problems.
Astăzi ne confruntăm cu existența a două state românești.
Today we are confronting a situation, the existence of two Romanian states.
Această lucrare, domnul rector, este utilă și celor de la drept, celor de la relații internaționale și comunicare și tuturor celor care sunt interesați de general. Am aici o lucrare, 10 exemplare.
10 samples of a paper.
Un dicționar drepturilor omului pe înțelesul tuturor.
Dictionary concerning human rights.
Va fi util iarăși celor de la drept și tuturor celor interesați de o problemă atât de importantă cum este valorificarea drepturilor și libertăților fundamentale ale omului.
And the ones concerned in turning to the best account and capitalizing the human rights.
În special dreptul la învățătură, libertatea de circulație, libertatea opiniei și exprimării și alte drepturi fără realizarea cărora este imposibil internaționalizarea sistemului educațional.
To the internationalization of the contemporary educational system.
Și un cadou mai specific. O sticlă de vin
collection wine
de origine dionist, care este de aceeași vârstă cu Universitatea Danubului.
Thank you very much.
Colaborarea cu Academia de Științe a Republicii Moldova este veche. Colaborarea cu Republica Moldova este unul dintre obiectivele noastre strategice. Suntem aceeași națiune.
We are actually the same nation.
Și de aceea vă rog să-mi permiteți să vă ofer un cadou.
And that's why please allow me to offer you a gift from your Romanian brothers. Thank you very much, Professor Ion Bujac. Thank you, Liviu Marinescu, for the translation. And now, Mr. Mihail Iliev, Vice Rector in Academic Affairs, Angel Kanchev University of Ruse, Bulgaria. Please, sir.
Dear Professor Pushka, dear excellencies, dear guests and participants in the 3rd Annual International Conference on Global Advancement in Universities and Colleges. I am pleased to extend warm greetings on behalf of the academic community of Russia University and its rector, Professor Christopher. It's an honor to be here today at this scientific forum, not only because of the close geographic proximity between Romania and Bulgaria, but also because of the significant opportunities for partnership between our universities in the subject fields of today's conference. The University of Resurselor is one of the biggest public universities in Bulgaria. It has 8 faculties and 2 branches, offers 51 bachelor's and 80 master's programs, chosen by around 10,000 students. The PhD students taking part in the doctoral program are over 300. Ladies and gentlemen, the major significance of higher education and academic structure for the social and economic development of society can hardly be opposed by any reasonable plan. Thus, I'm confident the discussions that today's conference encourages shall be of great interest not only for the representatives of academic community, but also for the political and economic elite of the country. Dear participants and guests of today's conference, please accept my most cordial wishes for health and prosperity. Do think and act with the clear understanding that your current activities, analysis and conclusions will produce results over the next 30-40 years. This historic importance is enjoyable and highly motivating. I wish success and fruitful discussions in the conference halls. God bless us in our positive endeavors. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mihail Iliev. And now Professor Marin Drămnescu will present us the message of Professor Filip Stanciu, the rector of Lumina University of Southeast Europe. Please, sir.
Domnilor ambasadori, domnule președinte al Consiliului Județean, domnilor rectori, stimați invitați, domnilor și doamnelor.
Your Excellency, Mr. Ambassador, Mr. President of the District Council, rectors, honored guests, ladies and gentlemen.
Sunt mandatat să vă transmit mesajul rectorului Universității Europa de Sud-Est Lumina din București, domnul conferențiar universitar Filip Stanciu.
I am appointed to convey the message of Mr. Filip Stanciu, the rector of Lumina University of Southeast Europe.
Prezența universității noastre la conferința internațională Global Investment of University of Colleges este motivată de interesul nostru pentru viitorul educației în România în special și în Europa și în lume în general, în condițiile unor provocări tot mai consistente ale mediului politic, economic și social actual.
The presence of our university at the international conference, the Global Advancement of Universities and Colleges, is motivated by our interest in the future of education in Romania, Europe, and in the world in the context of more and more significant changes in the contemporary political, economic, and social environment.
Spunând acestea, avem în vedere accentuarea fenomenului de migrație a populațiilor spre țările dezvoltate, extinderea terorismului la rangul unui pericol major pentru civilizație, eroziunea constantă a democrației și reducerea acesteia la o simplă tehnică de alegere periodică a liderilor, eroziunea multiculturalismului prin reducerea la coexistența culturilor, accentuarea competiției universităților în condițiile globalizării și erodarea rolului lor prin tendința de transformare a învățământului universitar în învățământ de masă, coliziunile culturale datorate prin luări până aproape la dispariția granițelor și, nu în ultimul rând, într-un mod unilateral de valori care pune problema conservării proprii individualități și a riscului pe care îl reprezintă transplantul fără discernământ al modelului străin.
By saying this, we take into consideration the increase of people's migration to the developed countries, the increase of terrorism to the level of high danger for civilization, the constant erosion of democracy and its reduction to a mere technique of periodical election of leaders, the erosion of multiculturalism by reducing it to the coexistence of cultures, the acceleration of the competition between universities in the context of globalization, and the erosion of their role by the tendency to transform higher education into mass education, cultural clashes generated by the almost complete dissolution of borders, and last but not least, the unilateral transfer of values that raises the question of preserving one's individuality and of the risk represented by the indiscriminate transplant of foreign models.
Faptul că Universitatea Europei de Sud-Est, Lumina din București, este cea mai tânără universitate din peisajul academic românesc constituie un avantaj major. Maturizarea instituțională rapidă, adecvarea nativă la cadrul juridic actual, flexibilitatea managerială în raport cu provocările mediului social au forțat conturarea unei instituții eficiente, adaptată prezentului, cu viziune clară, orientată pe soluții.
The fact that the University Lumina, Southeast Europe, is the youngest university in the Romanian academic world is a major advantage. Its fast institutional development, its foundation by adjustment to the present juridical framework, its managerial flexibility with respect to the changes of the social environment have accelerated the shaping of an efficient, updated institution with a clear, solution-oriented vision.
Preocuparea constantă a conducerii universității și efortul de cercetare universitară sunt direcționate spre un nou model de educație, rezultat din sinteza funcțională a modelului educațional tradițional și cea a modelului educațional de tip antreprenorial. Acest demers, care vizează rolul, locul și funcția universității în societatea actuală, este abordat dintr-o perspectivă paradigmatică, acțională și pragmatică.
The constant preoccupation of the management and the effort of academic research seek out to configure a new model of education resulted from the functional synthesis between the traditional educational model and the entrepreneurial educational model. The vision that refers to the role, place and function of the university in the present society is approached from a paradigmatic, active and pragmatic perspective.
În acest sens, direcțiile de dezvoltare ale universității sunt promovarea cooperării internaționale, colaborări substanțiale între universități, acțiuni care vizează asigurarea calității în învățământul superior și în cercetare, rolul sectorului privat în învățământul superior, educația antreprenorială și așa mai departe.
Therefore, the directions of development envisaged by the university are promoting international cooperation, substantial collaboration between universities, actions meant to ensure quality in higher education and research, the role of the private sector of higher education, entrepreneurial education, and so on.
Universitatea Europei de Sud-Est își asumă atât ideea cât și promovarea unui nou model de educație prin manifestări concrete, cu finalități precise, cu recunoaștere națională, regională și internațională, acordând importanța firească dimensiunii culturale a educației, care, considerăm noi, trebuie regândită în perspectiva unei autentici societăți educaționale, caracterizată prin parte de un pluralism cultural accentuat.
The University of Southeast assumes responsibility both for the idea and the promotion of a new model of education via concrete manifestations with clear goals, national, regional and international recognition. It also seeks out to emphasize the obvious importance of the cultural dimension of education. In our opinion, this must be redefined from the perspective of a genuine educational society characterized by enhanced culture and pluralism.
Transmit în finalul cuvântului meu mult succes tuturor participanților la conferință și închei citându-te John Naisbitt. Cele mai fascinante schimbări ale viitorului nu vor avea loc datorită tehnologiei, ci datorită extinderii conceptului a ceea ce înseamnă să fii om. Și am completat noi în sensul formării acestuia în și prin școală. Vă mulțumesc mult de tot!
In the end, I wish success to all the participants in this conference, and I quote Mr. John Naisbitt, "The most fascinating changes of the future will not be generated by technology, but by enlarging the concept of what it means to be human, and we would add in the sense of training humans by means of education." Thank you very much, Professor Marin Drămnescu and also Professor Filip Stanciu. As Mr. Titus Corlățean, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, couldn't come to our conference, I'm going to read you his message. Dear Rector, Associate Professor Andy Pușcă, PhD, thank you very much for your kind invitation to participate in the opening of the conference on global advancement of universities and colleges. Although I cannot be present because of my busy international agenda, allow me to send my regards to you and to your distinguished guests, and also my best wishes. As a diplomat and academic, I understand very well the importance of all topics approached at this conference. Considering the internationalization of the ways of assuring the educational quality, accreditation and management of higher education studies, the globalization of higher education is a very necessary phenomenon with important consequences for the high-level specialists who received in school a set of competencies to allow them to integrate in the more and more interconnected and sophisticated systems on the present labor market. I consider the approach of higher education financing in the present global society or in the entrepreneurial education to be extremely useful. We can also consider useful the approach of the role and interest of state institutions in the higher education or the cooperation between the public and private sector as far as the education is concerned.
Because there are so many people who can say that the quality is the same, and other people will say the quality is another things, and to decide this problem in our country, the Minister of Higher Education said that you need to introduce in your university any system of any system of quality assurance. But what is it? Nobody knows. And so any institutions are doing as they understand. Okay. And some of them take the good results, but some of them not have the good results.
Okay, President Pușcă, what is the perspective from Romania?
Of course, it doesn't exist a standard definition for quality, but someone said that quality is what you are dreaming to do and you really do it. So we have quality system implemented in Romania. We are part of the European Union, so they create their own standards. But I see quality like a line full of good things, and you must not go below.
so we must go up, and to grow. It's about human sharing with thoughts and implement it together.
Okay. So it seems to me that if quality is a problematic concept, that maybe what we ought to be talking about is excellence. All right, the idea of excellence, and not just quality. And I wonder. I see a professor over there is having technical problems, so I'm going to spare them a little bit. All right, and then still focus on this side. So, how do you wrestle with the concept of excellence and quality, Dr. Harvey?
I think introducing excellence gives you a much broader field to play. And there are some things we know that we want the generations that are now exiting college to be familiar with. So if we can establish what some of those, for want of a better term, time-honored concepts are, then we would try to make sure that students understand and master those concepts as they leave the university. At the same time, though, I think it's important for us to recognize, as I said before, that we're in a period of cataclysmic change. And so it's not just enough to know what came before. You must also have some understanding of how you can project what is going to happen in the future. And that becomes the responsibility of the institution as well. If we're doing both of those things, if we're honoring the past while we're exploring the future, then I think we're on our way to approaching it.
Dr. Guo.
I think the quality of education.
Do you want to use the microphone? Oh, please. Yes, the microphone.
Okay. Simply, I think the quality of higher education means the use of education activity.
Say that again. Educational activities.
Yeah. It's use education activity.
Okay. So what do you mean by activities? Can you explain further?
Yes, including instruction,
all right.
And the content of the instruction and the process of instruction.
Now, let me ask you a question. Now, if you think about the Chinese education system in the past compared to now, will you say that the quality is better, is worse, or is the same?
I think the quality of education in China has become better because the education condition will be better. For example, the government much investment in education, and the government create certificates, projects for 985 projects, 211 projects to promote the quality of education.
Yeah, Mr. Lee. I have the same question for you because the private sector is different from the public sector in China. What do you say as to the quality of public and the quality of private in China?
中国的私立教育经过了4个发展阶段，一就是助学机构以培养学生通过高教自考获得毕业证书；二就是大专层次的职业教育；第三就是本科层次的应用性教育；第四就是专业硕士研究生教育。由于它的层次不同，所以它的质量观也明显不同。应该说，随着民办高等教育30年的发展，质量随着层次的提高而提高。它和公办来比，应该说还有相当的距离。原因很简单， 因为民办学校的师资，它一般是兼职为多，教师的这种敬业精神和公办相比还有差距。
Okay, you like to?
Private education in China has gone through mainly 4 stages. The first stage was some kind of assistance to learning with self-taught courses as the basis. And the second stage entails the short cycle vocational training, which leads to some kind of certificate. And the third stage, we would say, is the baccalaureate education that aims to bring out students with applied skills. And the last stage, I would say, is the MA level education with professional subjects. So with 30 years of growth, the education, quality of higher education, I would say, has risen remarkably. But if we compare the quality of private education with public education, well, there is still a long way to go, because first and foremost, the faculty that we have to be taken into consideration. Now, some of the faculty members teaching at private universities are adjuncts. They are not, by any means, as devoted, as dedicated to teaching as some of the professors who have been employed full-time.
第二，就是民办高校的学生的入学的素质相对要低一些。一个老师的质量差，一个学生的质量差，这2点决定了他民办高校的质量是相对于公办而言还有相当的差距。
And secondly, we have to take into consideration of students that private institutions of education pay. Now, they are not, by any means, as good as students enrolled by public established universities. So the overall qualification of students entering into private higher educational institutions are not comparable to those of students going into state universities. So first, the faculty, then the student, and these 2 major factors determine the quality of education at private institutions of higher learning in China.
Thank you very much. Now, it seems to me that when I studied in this side, you guys took a philosophical view of the definition of quality. And those side took a pragmatic view of quality with 2 components. So now I want to make sure that the 2 connect, both the philosophical and the components. So when we look at the issue of faculty, and then the issue of the quality of students that are moving into that sector, now, what will you say in terms of using this as part of the parameters of looking at the quality of education, so that you can compare one sector with the other, one generation with the other? No. So, Professor Harris is started. You understand?
Well, our circumstances obviously are very different from our friends in China. And of course, the oldest institutions of higher education in the U.S. are private institutions. So obviously they've had a long opportunity to become settled and so forth. The most significant issue in regard to your question that hasn't yet been introduced into the equation is the factor of cost. Higher education has become very expensive in the U.S. And so you no longer have the best faculty either at public or private institutions. You no longer have the best students necessarily at public or private institutions. One of the factors that determines where students go to institutions now is how much they have to pay. So a good student can go to a public or private institution depending on whether or not he or she can afford it. A good institution, public or private, can keep a good professor if they can afford to pay that person. So I think the issue of cost becomes a very important consideration as we talk about quality.
What's your reflection about this, Professor Puska?
To be more pragmatic, because this this is what we are doing every day in August. Actually, we have a visit of the National Quality Assurance Agency. Two of our evaluators are here. I don't know if in this room or outside, but we have standards. We have very precise indicators, quality assurance. And if we want to talk about this, first of all, I will refer to the excellence. It's not a very straight line between excellence and quality, but quality is the bottom line. Excellence is something unique. You cannot do excellence with many people because they must have a bright mind, genius. They must create, innovate something. This is about excellence and quality because I was participating in Bucharest with the national agency presidents and members of the council who said that, and they're wondering what about quality and excellence. About standardization, the things are very precise. Europe and Romania make a quality system similar to American quality assurance system. We have 3 standards to be accomplished: the capacity of the institution, the efficiency of education, and the management of quality. So inside all these 3 big categories of quality standards, we must put very precise numbers and vision, mission documents who prove or proving we respect the standard, but we want to develop ourselves. We do not want only Danubius to stay on the line, stay above and go up, because it's possible. The standardization means any university in Romania must respect this line, but we are and we want to do more. And I will talk about this.
All right. Now, let me go to our friend from Moldova. Now, will you say the quality of your education is improving, or is it better compared to the past? What will you say about the quality of education in Moldova? I need somebody to help me to translate.
Thank you very much. Sigur că Republica Moldova este conștientă de faptul că internaționalizarea învățământului superior este o condiție sine qua non și un factor al concurențial.
So the Republic of Moldova is aware of the fact that the internationalization of higher education is a sine qua non, is an indispensable condition for academic evolution.
Este o problemă care ar trebui să fie pusă în prim plan pe agenda guvernanților.
It is a problem that should be on the first page of our government agenda.
Deoarece statele cu o economie zdruncinată, cum este cea a Republicii Moldova, și un potențial de resurse naturale extrem de scăzut, nu are o altă șansă de a supraviețui în condițiile zilei de astăzi decât prin crearea unei societăți bazate pe cunoaștere.
States with an unbalanced and troubled economy such as the Republic of Moldova cannot survive, but in a society based on knowledge.
Crearea societății bazate pe cunoaștere este rezultatul unor relații întrepătrunse între sectoarele cercetare, educație, dezvoltare.
And this is a process concerning the intermingling of some sectors of activities such as research and development.
Ar părea straniu de ce eu, care reprezint Academia de Știință a Moldovei, sunt interesat de acest subiect. Deci ar părea straniu de ce eu, care reprezint Academia de Știință a Moldovei, aș fi interesat de subiect de genul celor care ține de internaționalizarea educației.
So it would be very safe for me, standing for the Academy of Science of the Republic of Moldova, to speak about internationalization.
But is he actually answering the question I asked him? I want him to talk to me, to us. Is the quality of higher education in Moldova, is it different from the past? Is it better than or is it the same?
Este calitatea învățământului superior din Moldova diferită față de trecut?
Sigur că Republica Moldova a moștenit un sistem educațional din regimul totalitar.
Of course, the Republic of Moldova has inherited a system of education from the past, the totalitarian government.
Însă ceea ce s-a întâmplat în Republica Moldova, parcursul ultimor decenii, demonstrează faptul că astăzi Republica Moldova are un sistem educațional foarte aproape de standardele europene.
The last decades prove the fact that nowadays it has an academic and educational system standardized to European level.
Cu atât mai mult că Republica Moldova este semnatară a procesului de la Bologna.
So the Republic of Moldova has signed the process of Bologna.
Noi implementăm principiile acestui proces, mai mult decât atât.
And we implement the principle of this process, and moreover,
am procedat și la revizuirea legislației naționale.
We have proceeded to revising the national legislation.
So is it better now?
E mai bine acum.
Sigur că e mai bine, dar lucrurile doresc a fi și mai bune.
I think that I wish for things to be better, even more.
Societatea se confruntă cu probleme grave de natură demografică.
Society is confronting serious issues concerning the demographic.
Procesul migraționist duce la scăderea numărului de studenți.
And the migrationism
înmatriculați în instituții din țară.
Leads to the shrinking of the number of students matriculated in lists.
Și la creșterea numărului studenților care pleacă din țară, iată avem și aici o domnișoară din Republica Moldova care face masterat aici la Galați.
Students leaving the country, for instance, we have here a young lady from the Republic of Moldova, a master student here.
Pentru comparație o să vin cu două cifre. Anul acesta, Ministerul Educației a planificat 23.000 de locuri în instituții superioare de învățământ.
I will come with the two numbers. This year, the Ministry of Education has planned 23,000 figure for higher education in the Republic of Moldova.
Pe când examenele la bacalaureat vor fi susținute doar de 19.000 de absolvenți.
Secondary school diploma will be supplemented.
19.000 de abiturienți, de absolvenți ai bacului.
Okay, 19,000 secondary school graduates.
Aceasta demonstrează faptul că tinerii pleacă din țară nu numai după absolvirea liceilor, dar și până la absolvirea acestora.
So the younger generation is leaving the country not only after.
I will have to say that I think what he's saying is that it is better now than the past. So I'm going to shift. I'm going to move the question quickly to something else. All right, Professor Du, over here there is a concept that was introduced, that equality is not just between private and public, but between the rich and the not so rich institution. Is that the trend that you see in higher education, that if you have money, really you can buy quality? If you don't have money, then you struggle with that. Or is it more complicated than that, especially in a place like China?
Well, I think China is very different from that because China has a totally different educational system in many ways. It's not just the money that will determine the quality of education. For example, there is the nationwide college entrance examination, which every high school graduate takes, and you are admitted by university, whether it's a good university or bad university, a top-notch university like Beijing University or a newly established private university, well, determines how well you do in the national college entrance examination. If you have a high cut-off mark, you get into a top-notch institution. So it's not money. And if you don't have money, the government will see to it that you don't drop out because of the lack of money. And of course, private and public divide is very pronounced in China because private institutions of higher education are fairly recent. So they can't compare less to compete with established government institutions with massive funding and with high quality faculty and with the tradition that has been there for perhaps 100 years.
Okay. Thank you. What about in Russia? Those, because I've seen two systems now. In the United States, where money can actually determine quality, and here in China, it's more complicated than money. What about in Russia? What role does money, institutional access to funds, play in determining quality?
No, I think it's all.
I don't think so, but you can use mine. You can use mine.
I think the money, it is very important for all of us, not only in higher education, but in our home, in our life, and of course, if we have enough money, we can say that it is the better, our work is better. But I would like to say some additional before discussion. When we say about the quality, as usual, we know that we work well, and we can say that our education, which we are doing, I suppose it is very fine. And maybe the students is worse, and the students is bad. But my mind, I think it is a very good work, and the quality which I am doing, yes, it is fine. But I know that, for example, in the United Kingdom, there are the good system who can say for you, is your work good or bad? Because the exams of entrance or annual exams are doing from another institutions. So not you put the mark for the students, but another person, another institutions, and they can to compare what you are doing, and this compare now it is another means to answer what is the quality, and the open education system, which are doing now very strong from United States University, yes, give us the opportunity to understand, is our task or contents of our education is the same which need to the world, to the modern world, or it is only our opinion, what we teach for our students. And that's why when you ask me what is the quality or what is the excellent, I think the place from which are going the technology, it is the excellent, and it is the quality educations, and the places or institutions that don't give any technology. I mean technology not only in technique, I mean technology and in economics, for example, when you are teaching the master business administration and how to govern the economy in market system. But of course, the leading position, it is the basic education and the mathematics, engineering, and if the institutions give the new knowledges, it is the good institutions. But if the institutions only reproduced or remember the old knowledges, it is very important, because the university must to keep the knowledge, and the new person who will come, they will open something new, and that's why the quality, I think, very close to the new technology, and why? So we can say that why the United States is a good, excellent education now, as usual opinion, yeah? Because the modern technology now go from United States. If you will take, for example, 50 years ago, or 40 or more, 60 years ago, yeah, it was in Germany. I think in future it may be in China. And if we remember that one country ago in the United States, there are some institutions that give the diploma failed diploma, yeah? Yeah, and That's why 100 ago the United States will open the system of accreditation. So professional things about your education. It is the answer. What is the quality?
All right.
So outstanding, outstate opinion about you. It can say what is the quality of your education.
This is a very interesting conversation, and I promise the audience that I suppose that you are keeping the time because we are enjoying ourselves here. I don't know who is the timekeeper, but somebody's going to tell us.
It should be, but...
Okay, so tell us when we have only 5 minutes left so I can know how to wrap it up. But that a very important concept that came up. And the first one, and I'm going to take 2 of those, and then we'll move on to general questions. The first one has to do with what do we look at when we are talking about quality? It seems to me that if there's one answer that I got from you that says passing exams, all right? If you pass exams, that is an indicator of quality. And the second one is if I have the materials like technology or all these things is in place, that is an indicator of quality. So the question to me is, when you talk about, and Professor Gore, I think you started when you said educational activities, and I was trying to push you, you said instruction, So what are the things that you will look for if you are an external person that is visiting a system? What do you look for in order to say that this is a quality higher education system? Do you want to take the microphone?
In my view, when we discuss the Chinese case in quality assurance of higher education, 3 aspects should be given much more attention. First, the quality assurance systems keeps the strong central control of education from the government because of tradition, planning, economic system. In this system, the central government and the province governments often can decide whether a university or college is opened or closed. And the main number of the students the universities and the colleges can enroll. The degree types the universities or colleges can provide, and so on. In general, the governments make these decisions according to the input indexes. Second, the engines of the government often embodies the quality according to the educational conditions. Besides the lesson evaluation, there's education quality level evaluation, which is carried out each time every 5 years. This later type of evaluation is the most important, especially for new universities or colleges and for new type education, degree education. The new universities will try to promote the educational level during the evolution periods. Third, the governments often take special action to promote the education quality of the education. In past 10 years, many education projects are created. For example, 985 projects as good as to build world-class universities. 211 projects as two strong major universities of the world.
Okay. All right. So let's take the topic of Professor Pushka. I mean, one of the things that he said is that to assure quality, you need central control, government control. And I suppose that this left wing is going to be different from the other side. Now, what do you say to that?
Quality must not be centralized. Quality must be in each of us and in each university. And to respond to one of your previously provocatory questions, in Romania, quality is about time and money. You remember, I've been in America. I'm very tired after 3 weeks of visiting top universities, Harvard, Yale, Kent State, Princeton, and you said to me, "Oh, don't worry, we have 200-300 before to accomplish these standards." So this is about time. About money, no one has such money in Romania to accomplish all standards of education because they are continuously changing and going up. And if you are, we are talking about islands of top quality, and this is excellence. About standards and about, as our bishop said, quality is in us, like God is in us. So if I look as an external evaluator, you said previously, I should look to the mission of the university. You have teaching in your mission, okay, let's prove it. Now let's go in a class. What do you do with a computer? Do you use a dialogue with the students? Do you use an online blended education to put more materials if they want, with supplementary files? I will look to the research, if you have the research in your mission. Where are the laboratories? Where are the papers, the journal your teaching and research are publishing? You are in a service with the community. Okay, let's ask the stakeholders. You agree that, for example, Danubius University are with you together with the business environment, with the public institution. Let's ask them. I should ask the alumni, graduate. Oh, okay, you are employed already? Where? In which field? You graduated what? I would ask the students, do you think that the professors are the best? Not necessarily the best in in its own field, but the prestigious faculty. I would like the managers of the institution. Do you hire 70%? It's a specific standard to have assistant professor and above that associate professor and professor. Do you have your own faculty professors? Because not all must be associate with the university, and so on. This is about time and money.
This is excellent. So we started with the concept of quality, we're talking about excellence, and then we're now talking about standards. All right? I'm going to end with 2 questions. And the first one has to do with standards, and then the next question I'm going to ask is, given your own country, do you think institutions in your country will be receptive to an international accreditation or international quality assurance movement? So, but the first question that I want to ask has to do with standards. You've started with some standards. Now, talk to me, Professor Zabade, about standards. What are the standards that you see that will be useful for assuring quality?
In my opinion, the definition standards for the education, it is a very bad position, because it does not give the opportunity to mix the educations, different levels of educations. I suppose that my opinion, it is only on the Russian experience, because in our system there are the some standards of education, which were writing some bureaucrats in ministries, and the professor must go according to this signed documents. And if you live together with the students, and when you are doing something new in the research, which no one can write you before about this problem, yeah? It is the strength against the development of education. So sometimes, of course, the means of standards is important. But in general, I say, it is two sides of this means. If the level of education, no, it is low, and some institutions wants to go upstairs in their level, yes, they can show what is the standards of some institutions. But if you're upstairs, who will say where is the standards? Who will say that what will be in the future the new knowledges? And the institutions and the university must to generate new knowledges, yes? And not only to keep, to generate. And the standards, when you generate new educations, you need to mix the education, for example, in chemistry, together with biology, in economy, and so on and so on. But if you have the government standards, you can't do it.
Okay.
So it is the problem.
Now, let's, this is for both of you, Professor Villa, Professor Lee, with regards to standards. What are the standards? You seem to have some standards put in place right now by the government in China. But what are the standards you would like to see if you are talking about quality assurance in higher education? Do you want to interpret to him and then you talk to him?
我对质量的理解实际上分为3个层次。中国有句成语叫“举一反三”。那么就是说，一就是我们对最基本知识的和现有知识的积累达到一定程度；二就是要在你原有的基础上能够有一定的创新；三是发展。就是如果离开了这3个层次的结构谈质量的话，可能就会僵化起来。所以我们现在评价你质量低层次的质量评价，就是一个积累的水平。你达到一定的量，大概公认的一个水平，那么这就是毕业了，拿到最基本的合格证书了。但是的话，这远远不够，特别是现代社会的教育，更应该体现它的创新和创造能力上。所以，谁能给学生更多的创新创造的能力的赋予，就是授人以渔，这可能是我们在今后评价高校质量里边的一个主要标准。第三就是发展，就是我们最终的目的都是在社会上要创造财富，服务于人类社会。所以我们的毕业生走向社会的时候，能为社会做出更大的贡献，这是我们的终极目标，或者也是评价的最终目标。
Well, in China we have a saying which roughly means that when you think about one thing, you should reflect and think far ahead and extend to 3 things. So in talking about standards, in talking about educational quality, I would say that we have to look at 3 different levels. Now the first level should be the accumulation of knowledge. How much you have learned? Because you come to learn, and one of the most obvious indicators is the knowledge accumulation and to the level that you can demonstrate after a certain program. But that's not enough, because that's only the first level, something that is easy to obtain. The second level is to innovate. You have to be creative. You have to learn to be creative. And the third level is growth or development. And once you learn things, once you are become knowledgeable, and once you are creative, you have to have the ability, the expertise to develop things. And also, when you leave the university, you have to be able to serve humanity and make your own contributions. So what the university does is not just to teach students knowledge, but to go beyond that and to teach them to be creative and to teach them to make contributions. And once again, Chinese, we have a saying, it's better to teach people how to fish than to give him a fish.
Is that your last question?
Yeah. And okay. Now we have the quality assurance system in China because this works well for Chinese systems of education at different levels. Since China is still, in many ways, a fairly highly centralized country in education or in everything else. So in education, for instance, the Ministry of Education, which is more powerful than any Ministry of Education in other countries, we have policies and guidelines for quality assurance. For example, the 5-year cycle of evaluation, as Professor Guo mentioned, and the database on the national scale, and on-site program evaluation, the integration of internal and external evaluation efforts, and a pool of experts for evaluation is being built, and the development of a system that encourages non-governmental evaluation agencies. So far, evaluation quality assurance is more the responsibility of the government. And then for that purpose, a national higher education evaluation center was established in 2004 under the Ministry of Education. Once again, it's government directed. It's centrally operated. Thank you.
Right. From a friend from Moldova, do you want to interpret quickly for me? Who is responsible, and this is a specific question, who is responsible for assuring quality in Moldova?
Deci, vă răspund imediat la această întrebare, dar vreau să răspund la afirmația noastră precedentă, că prin intermediul meu ați constatat că ce se întâmplă în Republica Moldova acum, în domeniul educațional, este mai bine ca în trecut.
So first of all, I want to tell you that what happens now in the Republic of Moldova is highlighting the fact that now is better than in the past.
În viziunea mea ar fi periculos chiar să facem constatări atât tranșante.
It's dangerous, in my opinion, to make harsh statements.
Deoarece orice aspect pozitiv, orice realizare este însoțită de anumite dezavantaje.
As each aspect is accompanied by some disadvantages.
Noi am ridicat nivelul sistemului educațional la standardele europene.
We standardize the educational field in the Republic of Moldova to European level.
Am încheiat acorduri de colaborare cu alte state, inclusiv privind nostrificarea actelor de studii.
We concluded agreements with the European states on the recognition of studies.
Și astăzi ne confruntăm cu un fenomen negativ, chiar periculos pentru societatea noastră, cum este exodul de creier.
And today we actually are confronting with the negative phenomenon in our society, which is the brain draining, the brain leaving from our country.
Și acum ceea ce ține de calitatea sistemului educațional.
It's for the quality of the educational system.
În Republica Moldova, la moment, avem instituit o autoritate autonomă.
We have instituted an autonomous authority in the Republic of Moldova.
Este Consiliul Național pentru Acreditare și Atestare.
The National Council for Accreditation and Attesting.
Președintele căruia este numit prin decretul șefului de stat.
Whose president is appointed by the decree of the state president.
Nu se subordonează nici Parlamentului, nici Guvernului.
Not subordinate to the Parliament or the government.
Deci este ghidat doar de legislație, legea cu privire la știință și inovare.
It is only subordinate to legislation, the law concerning science and innovation.
În cadrul acestui consiliu funcționează două consilii mari.
During this board there are functioning two councils.
Un consiliu acreditează instituții de învățământ la dimensiunea cercetare și educație.
One which is offering credential to academic institution to research and development dimension.
La moment însă este în proces de elaborare strategie educațională.
At the moment it is a process of elaborating educational strategy.
De 10 ani se lucrează asupra proiectului codului educațional.
It's been 10 years since they've been working to elaborating the educational code project.
În Consiliul care se propune crearea unei agenții de verificare a calității în învățământul profesional și universitar care se va subordona guvernului.
Which implies the creation of an agency concerning the academic education and the vocational one, which is subordinate to the government.
Aici se încheie o nouă ediție a emisiunii Academica. Data viitoare, invitații din Statele Unite, Rusia, China, participanți la conferința internațională GAUC, vor veni în platoul Get TV pentru a trage concluziile în urma acestei întruniri.
To the world, Vice of the one big gangzilla alongside Skrillex. Them for no. Ooh-wee. Ow. We mash up the place, turn up the bass and make them all have fun. How we ablaze the fire, make it fun them. We mash up the place, turn up the bass and make some sound, boy run. And we will end your week just like a Sunday. We mash up the place, turn up the bass and make them all have fun. Skrillex ablaze the fire, make it fun them. We mash up the place, turn up the bass and make some sound, boy run. And we will end your week just like a Sunday.
Mash up the place.
And make them all have fun. How we ablaze the fire, make it
Proiectul VEHMED, Vehicule media pentru formarea abilităților practice, televiziuni și ziare operate de studenți pentru studenți, este cofinanțat din Fondul Social European prin Programul Operațional Sectorial Dezvoltarea Resurselor Umane 2007-2013. Domeniul major de intervenție 2.1, Tranziția de la școală la viața activă. Conținutul acestui material nu reprezintă în mod obligatoriu poziția oficială a Uniunii Europene sau a Guvernului României.